everyone? Welcome to Check Me. I want to cover this Michael Irvin situation, which there's some kind of fishy things on the footage here, but just Michael Irvin before the Super Bowl, before he was doing coverage, kind of what went down and what to look for. I'm gonna roll through the footage. There's a lot to look at. So pretty much, Michael Irvin was down at the Renaissance Phoenix Hotel, downtown hotel. Right now, he's getting charged with sexual assault in a situation. He actually chart or issued a pretty much counterclaim and said, "Hey, look, he denied all allegations of any type of wrongdoing," and then he also is suing Marriott Hotel for a defamation suit. So let's kind of roll through the footage and see what's kind of going on here. There are a lot of things that in this footage that tell otherwise from what went on. Also, other things that will be considered sexual harassment. But let's take a look at the footage here. So essentially, you see in the hotel right now, you kind of see Michael Irvin just in the lobby in your top right corner in the lobby talking, having a conversation with some fans, taking a picture. If you can see, the main thing that you can see here is his distance when he's talking to these guys and taking pictures. He's in close distance with them. He's friendly, having a good conversation. There's nothing too outlandish or too crazy that he's doing, but you can see his distance is pretty close when he's talking to them. Now, if you roll the footage, which you see in the bottom left-hand screen here, you see the manager, where this guy is in this vest right here, the manager kind of walk in and look over to the right as Michael Irvin starts to come in. But the manager obviously is, in this situation, is visibly mad. It's important that you know that. So when he walks in, he's looking over at the front door, and you see how he enters to the back of the restaurant, where the restaurant is. So he kind of walks around to the front, and then you'll see him kind of stand there. He goes to the front, looks to the front of the restaurant, then comes back. But after Michael Irvin's still taking pictures. Now, it's important that you understand where he came in versus where the bartender is going to come in. Now, at the bottom of the left-hand screen, you'll start to see the bartender, the one who accused Michael Irvin of sexual harassment. Sexual harassment. Michael Irvin starts to come in. Now, she comes in the bottom of the screen, and what you'll see in the footage, the kind of black, her kind of look over when she turns this corner. So she kind of looks over to see kind of if Michael Irvin's there. Instead of going to the side, she kind of looks over. Now, Michael Irvin is walking in. She looks over at the bar because that's where she's going. She could have easily went to the backside. She could have easily went to, through the couches here. But she decided to go in through the front. I'm not sure why. And you'll see her briefly look over the counter to see if Michael Irvin is there, puts her head around the corner, and then she proceeds to walk in. When she walks in, Michael Irvin, I'm not sure what happens here, but Michael Irvin walks in. I think I'm not sure if they say something to each other or whatever. Michael Irvin walks in and she walks out. Now, I don't know if there's a situation that previously happened before, but it's important to note that. Now, if you look, while she's walking in, the manager kind of walks his way back up to the front, and he walks around while she's stopping Michael Irvin. He walks around the corner while she walks to Michael Irvin, and obviously he's visibly upset because when she walks around the corner, Michael Irvin, whatever the interaction happens, he claps his hands and then puts his hands on his hips, or claps his hands and is visibly upset and puts his hands on his hips while they're having a conversation. Now, if you saw that other guy that walked around, the guy that walked around in the fleece, the black guy walking around, that's security. So security is kind of paying close attention. The manager's visibly upset, but if you look at them talking, have a conversation with each other, they're still at a distance. He kind of goes over to the corner. They're still at a distance, having a conversation, right? Talking, having a conversation. Now, security's still there, and the manager still has his hands on his hip, and he's upset. Now, Michael Irvin and her have this conversation. You can see a little bit of conversation between them two. Michael Irvin takes one small step forward, and you see her inch back, and then you can see security behind them in the conversation. So at that point, you kind of realize Michael Irvin's not going to do anything, but security is right there, and the manager kind of walks over to get a better look at certain things and what's going on. he at this point they feel they're in a good spot or whatever from whatever stem or whatever is going on, and then the manager still kind of lingering around. So is security. So you see the conversation is somewhat friendly, or at this point, or they're having a conversation. She's nodding her head. They're looking back at each other. Security's right there. He's still there. Walked around the pillar. The manager's right behind them, behind the pillar, so Michael Irvin can't see. Then he proceeds to want to walk over, and they're still having a conversation, somewhat good conversation. And the thing is how close they are. There's a decent amount of distance, but you see they're still a little bit farther away than Michael Irvin was when he talked to the other guy, the other fans who were taking pictures. So, but what you do see here that there may say, hey, Michael Irvin. Now, keep it honest. Now, I'm not listen. I don't like Michael Irvin. I never did, but I think the situation. I'll say I don't like him, but I can care less to hear him, and I don't like the Cowboys, so he kind of fits in those two categories. But you can see in the situation, he's having the conversation, he's talking, and he's taking a step a little bit, and she's backing up a little bit. So right now they're at a good keen distance, and he takes one step forward and he touches her. Now when he touches her, she takes a little step back, nothing way back, far back enough to say, hey, look, this is sexual harassment or assault. But then he also, you'll see, she puts her hands up, and then he laughs and grabs her arm. But, and she kind of snaps her arm back. You see she kind of snaps her arm back a little bit fast and puts her arms back behind and holds her wrist. Now, in the conversation, she's putting her hands up. We're not sure what they're saying. What Michael Irvin was saying basically said that it was a conversation between them two about her not knowing football, not knowing who he is, etc., blah, blah. But you see the security and the manager are still lingering around. They shake hands amicably, right? And they walk away. Now, you'll see another person come in who works at the restaurant in the black shirt here, the black short sleeve shirt. He's going to actually take a picture with Michael Irvin while he talks to security. So he talks to security. You can kind of see they say something to each other, right? Like, hey, it's Michael Irvin, etc. She walks away. He says, bye, whatever. Then he turns around, and they're still kind of talking with each other. Now, it's important to understand, when they walk into the restaurant, she speeds up. She changes up her pace again. And you see the manager points at her and says something. And then he walks away. They walk away to talk to each other, right? Michael Irvin's still there. Security and the guy with the short sleeve shirt still there. They're talking or whatever. And they walk and exit out of the screen. I'm not sure what's going on. He's gesturing slap face or whatever. He walks out because the guy wanted to take a picture with Michael Irvin. Now, if security still hangs around, Michael Irvin takes a picture, and you can see he's a little bit closer distance to talking with this guy than he was with the bartender, right? So they walk. He's asking, trying to figure out where the elevator is, and he's like, elevator's over here. And that's pretty much the end of the footage. It will roll, and then nothing really will go on after that. Now, Michael Irvin said that when they walked into the restaurant, the guy sitting down said something to the bartender. So if you see and press the play footage, when they walk away and shake hands, amicably, right, and a fast, you see him look. You see the guy in the white hat look. And apparently in that situation, she said something. But I'm not sure it was that's all he say, he say, she say. But I want to talk about the situation from just an athlete standpoint and a bartender standpoint. I don't know what happened or occurred before this. What happened before this? Is this Michael Irvin's first time getting into the hotel? Is he checking in for the first time? He's looking for the elevators, etc. These are important questions to ask, because if there was something happened before this, that's something that they need to know. Why did she go around, right? To I guess, really just to engage with Michael Irvin in the situation. Why was the manager upset? Why they walk off together? Why was security kind of hanging around? Did a situation happen beforehand that this is just what they see here? Now the question also is this: Michael Irvin his attorney asked for multiple camera angles, and they have not gotten that. It took them weeks to give this angle out to say that Michael Irvin did something, but you really don't see anything on the footage here. I don't see anything too wrong from what he did. I don't see, maybe if that touches is sexual harassment, sexual assault, is that what they're saying? Then wow, it's really petty. Just some situations I know women, men who touch me when they talk or whatever, and I don't think anything of it. Now the question is, what happened before this, or if anything happened before this, and what were the other angles? Michael Irvin's attorney has requested footage from the hotel to to see what other angles of this as well too. They haven't get Renaissance Hotel has not Renaissance Marriott has not given them anything any footage or anything, just this one angle. The other question is this: the big question is this: was it a setup or what happened before? It's basically two things. Michael Irvin says the eye in the sky don't lie. Why was the manager visibly upset about certain things? There's a lot that needs to be unraveled here. If this is his first time, this is from a prior incident. But it just goes to show that, like, hey, when it came out, Michael Irvin pretty much was stripped from Super Bowl coverage. This is something that happened to him in Super Bowl. He got stripped, and, for him, he said it's not even about, getting all his job back. It's just about making sure what was right. And it sucks because it's basically his word versus her word. So but they have footage, and I think the more footage comes out, we'll see. They're not sure. Michael Irvin and his attorney aren't sure what footage they sent to the NFL. If they just saw this video or additional footage, but from this video, what I'm saying is Michael Irvin didn't do anything. It may look like a setup or an incident that happened before. Who knows? We'll see.